We have a lot of customers and prospects who approach us not only with new security concerns around their cloud and data transformation initiatives, but also with existing problems that they haven't necessarily solved well. In this demonstration, I'm going to talk about how, in solving for a cloud-related security use case, we were also able to solve for an on-premises related use case using the same design, same architecture, same technology. We're able to do this because our solutions are cloud native, and many of the hybrid cloud requirements also solve for more traditional on-premises challenges. So we'll talk about both. I'll begin with what we did first. Picture a company starting a small proof of concept by standing up a few Windows and Linux VMs in AWS. Developers work on these systems directly, as does the operations team and the sysadmins. They all use local accounts to log in since that's quick and easy for a POC. Fast forward, the proof of concept is a success, and now this environment needs to be secured and scaled for production quickly. IT and IT security dictate that these systems must now be brought under Centrify management, just like their on-premises servers are. This means joining them to Active Directory, getting rid of all the local accounts, and logging into them with individual corporate AD credentials, with least privilege and elevating privilege only when required. Joining to AD is the big hurdle. One way is an AWS site-to-site VPN, but that can be very expensive. Alternatively, various AD configurations are possible, each with varying pros and cons. A best practice would be to establish a new AD resource forest in AWS with a one-way trust back to the corporate forest. That adds quite a bit of complexity and additional infrastructure and cost, not to mention extra firewall ports that increase the risk of attack. Here's a better solution. The Centrify client on the host can not only join directly to AD, it can also join to the Centrify platform, which acts as an identity broker. It does this via a lightweight gateway connector. So installing a gateway connector on both sides then allows each AWS-hosted server to authenticate against AD without replicating AD infrastructure or requiring a site-to-site VPN. Since the Centrify gateway connector maintains a persistent outbound connection to the Centrify platform, you also avoid poking additional holes in your firewall. That translates to extra security. Since the Centrify platform is a true cloud service, it's accessible from any DMZ, any VPC, any infrastructure as a service provider. As we see in this slide, we might need to access vaulted passwords or secrets interactively from applications, from containers, microservices that are in a single VPC or spread across VPCs in a single infrastructure provider, or even spread across infrastructure providers. The Centrify Gateway Connector architecture enables this simply and seamlessly without having to replicate vault instances in every VPC in every provider. One final benefit, if you happen to maintain admin accounts in multiple enterprise directories, for example, internal IT in Active Directory and outsourced IT or third-party identities in LDAP, this brokered authentication service has you covered, since it can validate user credentials against AD, LDAP, Google Compute Cloud Directory, or Centrify's own cloud platform directory. The net-net is that the customer's admins and ops users can log into the AWS instances using their corporate IDs without needing to replicate enterprise directory infrastructure in AWS and without these instances needing to join Active Directory. Even the Windows instances can be standalone. Now, in the preamble, I mentioned a second scenario, an on-premises use case. Many customers stand up Windows or Linux boxes on-prem in their DMZ for things like web servers. They don't want the inherent risk of extending AD into the DMZ, however, to enable AD-based login. Instead, they use local accounts for user login. Sound familiar? It transpires that the solution I just described for the cloud-based use case works identically for this one as well. The servers in the DMZ don't need to join AD. They instead join to the Centrify cloud platform, which in turn securely communicates to Active Directory inside the corporate network via the Centrify Gateway Connector, or the other directories I mentioned earlier. So this is a prime example of Centrify evolving to solve modern hybrid use cases that legacy PAM solutions are simply not designed to accommodate, but in the process, satisfying an existing security challenge that plagues customers today. 2 for 1. So let's finish this off with an actual demo. It's very short. Most of this happens under the covers. I'm logged into the Centrify Privileged Access Service Vault as my demo user, Bobby Admin. From here, I'm going to initiate a secure remote session to an AWS-hosted Linux server. From here, I'll issue the Centrify AD-info command, which reports whether I'm joined to Active Directory or not. As you can see, we're not joined to AD, and yet I just used my AD account to log into this box. Now I'll issue the Centrify cinfo command, which reports whether I'm joined to the Centrify platform in the cloud. As you can see, I am. So this box was able to authenticate me to Active Directory via the Centrify cloud platform, acting as an identity broker. Let's go back to the Privileged Access Service, and here you see the Centrify Gateway connector configured to talk to that Linux box I was just on. You see it has AD proxy enabled. If I navigate to the Directory Services page, this is where we have our on-premises Active Directory integration defined with the additional directory options as mentioned earlier. So that concludes this demo. I hope you're able to see the benefits in terms of reducing risk, costs, complexity, and administration overhead that you can achieve by using cloud-native, identity-centric PAM from Centrify.